something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there, telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds are getting so much resistance from behind. Time we stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
We're ready now.
Yes. Welcome for the third or fourth time.
Boo!
Yeah, so this might be out of Halloween, you never know. So yeah.
So Halloween special.
Huh?
Halloween special.
Yeah, I said all that.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I was starting again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, Demon City. So, if you look this up on the IMDb, it says some of the tags for it are supernatural drama.
Oh, does it?
And fantasy. And also from the plot synopsis. So I thought, oh, this is going to be a kind of like an action horror. Like I knew it would be an action film, but I thought it would be an action horror hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing in the least supernatural about this film.
Well, apart from the beginning premise, and then which is that, you know, when somebody, when revenge takes hold of someone.
Ah, yeah, but you know that's
they become a demon, and
also
then
I did
they
quite
become
like
an unstoppable demon.
I did like your very posh pronunciation of the word premise.
Premise.
Yeah, that's good. You should have had a little cup of tea with your finger. The premise. Is that how you all? You might be right. Is that how you always pronounce it?
I don't know. Yeah, there was it's an avalanche of words, of phraseology. So, yeah.
So it's not. Well, yeah, the one I always used to get wrong was hyperbole.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those few words you don't say, you only read it, right? So I would always say hyperbole.
Yeah, I can't. Unfortunately, I'm an unfortunate person, and I corrected a work colleague about that just before the end of term. She probably hates me now. She said, you know, hyperbole, and I went, like,
if I'm me,
I literally couldn't stop. Like, just whenever the conversation moved on, I was just bring it back to the aforementioned word hyperbole. If we could just, no,
yeah, no, but hyperbole sounds like what was that strip in 2000 AD? Do you remember? Was it Harlem Globetrotters? But they weren't Harlem Globetrotters, and they played like a rollerball kind of a game.
Oh, but it wasn't Madball though, was it? No, it was. I don't know.
No, I think that was a video game, wasn't it? But it was, what were they called? It was like something that was supposed to sound like
probably
the Harlem
was
Globetrotters.
hyperbole. Yeah, probably was. That's why you're thinking of it.
Maybe that's why we think it's yeah.
Anyway,
fantastic digression there.
Yeah.
So Demon City is probably the newest. So yeah, we try and this is our excuse to watch some new films, isn't it? Because otherwise we might not. So this show is always, and we chose some films that aren't actually brand new at all, but recent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Relatively recent.
Yeah, you chose them this time. Which is the usual. I don't know what I'm saying this time. And yeah, I thought I don't know where you got these choices from. What was on your radar?
Well, no, I think it was because it was a bit of a rush job. This
Right.
one, wasn't it? We didn't really plan it. It was just suddenly. Shall we do a Halloween special to put out in mid-November? Yay! So I just grabbed 3 titles that were nearest. So this is the newest one, Demon City or Onigoroshi,
Which
based on a manga by Masamichi Kawabe, right? Which I've not read.
it's
I don't
it's
suppose you've
on
read that.
Netflix, and it says a Netflix film, right? Or did you? Is
Yes,
that how you
yes,
watched
it is a Netflix film.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Which so
Directed and written by Seiji Tanaka. And like I said, I was led to believe that it was horror inflected, but it's not. So we're starting off our mid-November Halloween spooky special with a film that isn't a horror film, which is kind of apt, I suppose.
yeah.
Yeah. So kind of simple revenge premise, really.
Yeah, it's a very like well-worn ground for a sort of Japanese film as well, right? I mean, well, not that I can immediately think of anything, but I mean, or kind of a kung fu film, that sort of revenge thing where you have
revenge. It's a revenge.
Yeah.
Revenge. So yeah,
or kung fu, or you know, sort of action film sort of thing as well. Yeah. Anyway.
Toma Ikuta, who is someone I was not familiar with. Yeah, he's kind of like basically he's a hitman who takes out gangsters in Shinjo City, and he retires because he wants to be with his hyper cliched, lovely wife and little daughter. Right, like you couldn't set it up any more cliched if you'd want to. Right, like they're just so fucking lovely and wholesome. Right?
Yeah. Wait till you get home and he's just killed like 50 people or something. Right. But he walked home in the rain in order to get rid of all the blood. But he's wet and also a bit covered in blood. And so she puts down
that's interesting. I would
towels.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together that the reason he walked home in the rain was to get rid of the blood.
I figured like that might be it. But yeah, I mean, because he cleaned up a bit. He just had one small bruise on his cheek. And
I was wondering if the wife was aware what he did for a living, because he does kind of mention he's going to quit and find a new job, and she gives kind of like a knowing look. So
yeah.
I suppose she kind of knows that he kills people for a living.
She also sort of did seem to know what was going on when they were all about to get it.
Which I thought that was kind of normally in these things, the wife is in the dark, right? So I thought it was at least a little bit interesting that she was kind of part of it. Anyway, and yes, of course, some dudes, a rival Yakuza group apparently from the ones he's just wiped out, turn up wearing these demon masks, right?
Yeah.
And they kill the wife. They seem to kill the little girl. Spoilers coming up, by the way.
Yeah.
And they shoot him in the head. 12 years later, flash forward, Shinjo City is thriving under a corrupt mayor who is in cahoots with these gangsters.
That wasn't clear, was it? How? Well, it was thriving and then had loads of poverty. Anyway.
Yeah, it was odd.
I
suppose that it was supposed to be that, like, they'd kind of try to push out all the I get the feeling that it was mostly gentrified, and then all the undesirables were pushed into like one slum area or something like that, right?
Yeah, they did sort of mention some stuff like that, didn't they? Anyway.
It was very like whatever happened, like whenever they get the Olympics in town kind of thing that happens, right? Just to kind of get rid of all the unsightly looking places ahead of the big event. Anyway, they don't really go into that. There's not much in the way of social commentary or satire, really.
Yeah.
12 years later, I guess he's out of prison, but he's a kind of not prison. I don't know where he's been, but he's totally crippled and can't do anything for himself. His former partner, who feels bad for what happened and maybe kind of being involved to a certain extent, gets him a home assistant, like a carer or whatever. And then the gangsters decide, oh, actually, we probably should have killed him after all. And they come out the woodwork and try to kill him. At which point he kind of snaps back to his old self. Discovers that his little girl is in fact still alive and is now a teenager who's being groomed by like a pedo gangster who's like, well, no, to be fair, because then I would be tarring myself with the same brush. Just a man who likes them young, let's put it that way. And she's just on, and he's like, he's kind of leering at her, like, he's like, oh, she's almost ready.
Well, but he's got that, because it's based on a comic, right?
Yes, yeah, which I've not read. But,
so with a lot of these things, you get caricatures, don't you, in the end? But because he's got that high voice, which is like, as you would imagine it in the comic book sort of thing. She's looking really ready. Like that sort of thing.
Oh, did you watch the English dub?
No.
Oh, because I can imagine that is what it might sound like. Yeah.
That's how I heard him in the...
Because you can watch it in an English dub on Netflix, right?
Imagine,
which I was tempted to do because you don't often see new Japanese movies with dubs, right? So I was tempted to kind of watch the dub just to see what it is. And I'm guessing that's exactly what you might sound like in the dub. Right?
Well, he kind of sounded like that in the non-dub version, but I think I translated it from Japanese into English.
I like to think maybe another character then said, "You Makai are all the same. One sniff of pussy and you lose it.
Don't be crazy, man. All I want to do is anyway dive right in.
Raider, someone's stealing your bike."
I think whenever I do that, those impressions of like a dubbed manga to my son, he gets really annoyed, and anyone else who's young. And I don't know if it's seen as like I don't know, anti-Japanese, or I don't know, like something.
Does your son watch a lot of anime?
I think he watches a fair bit. He does. And he's quite critical of me for not knowing things or whatever. So I don't know, but and other students as well. And I've done that. The students, not the Mackay one. But,
I was going to say
you Mackay, but I'm like, don't be stupid. You know your power will never match mine. And then like,
one sniff homework and you lose it. Oh no, you've become the teacher who's trying to be cool with his students.
I just can't help doing certain things like that. Like just.
No, I know what you know. I get it as well. It's like a reflex.
Yeah.
Response, isn't it?
But
it's interesting you mentioned that about your son maybe being critical and then you do it. I think there is a massive, like, I think when we grew up, anime was was so kind of niche in the UK, and also like, you know, you'd spend 15 quid to buy a tape with like one episode of a series on it or something. Just wasn't. It was really hard to be and now of course it's fucking massive and people have access to endless streaming series and stuff. So yes, your frame of reference is like quite different to your son.
The thing you're referencing, the doomed megalopolis thing, I feel like that video I had, that was one part of
Yeah, no, that wasn't. I know what that is because, well, we'll see about this. I want to ask you about this actually.
I only had the one.
Yes, I want you guesting on something else if you have the time. But no, the Makai is from Legend of the Overfiend, Rutsukadoji.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you may have had a Doomed Megalopolis as well. I don't know, but I remember.
I did have Doomed Megalopolis. I also had Urotsukadoji. Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Oh god. Yeah. So I was referencing the wrong. You weren't, but I was. In my mind, for like 20, 30 years.
Maybe that's why you were getting funny looks, that you were inappropriate. They knew what you were referencing.
Probably not.
And you didn't realise you were like, hey kids, tentacle porn.
Anyway, I wasn't referencing that. Oh dear. Anyway.
So I don't know about the English dub to this, but I wonder if it might work a bit better actually. So this is very, very super cartoonish, cliched. Too long at 108 minutes, I think. Should be, a tight 90.
Well, was it? It was one of those ones, was it, that had, or was it the other ones? Had sort of. It could have ended, and then it had another bit of ending, and then another bit. Yes, it did, didn't it? Sort of like
Yeah, so we get to see Mio Tanaka, who plays the teenage daughter, gets her again, spoilers, gets her kind of revenge. And there's a bit of a setup for, I don't know if it's really a setup for a sequel or not, but you can see that if this was a hit, they could do a sequel with her as which might be interesting, I don't know. But
the only scene I sort of enjoyed was the stair scene where he was. I thought that was quite cleverly done. Just I wondered how they did that from a technical point of view.
Yeah,
with all the people falling off and being hit and and things like that. Falling down the stairs and they were all obviously waiting one by one. It was choreographed, but it was a continuous shot. It must have been really fucking hard to do, no matter what.
Yeah. And there's a warehouse fight. I thought it was quite good as well. It was interesting. I was thinking with this. So I can't remember the title of it, but if you remember, a couple of shows ago, we did another kind of Japanese gangster thing, and that was very much like a throwback to like straight to video kind of 90s Yakuza films. But I feel this film equally as kind of retrograde in a way, but I feel this one though wasn't trying to emulate those. I felt this was maybe trying to copy more recent like Indonesian action effects, like the night comes for us and the raid and stuff. That style of action, I think, is what they were going for.
Yeah, it had a lot of like and the heads explode, and then another like that. It was like everyone was made of kind of lettuce. Very
and a lot of CGI kind of blood splatter and switching like from weapons, blades, and whatever's at hand to. And I do like, and I think some of the action in this was like, I can imagine the people who choreographed and designed the action working on a film with a more interesting story or script, or it would be pretty good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just it was too comic booky. I think I've seen recently. I can't remember what film, but I think a lot of comic book adaptations, a lot of comic books just have. Oh yeah, that's it. There's a series that I thought, oh, I wonder what that's like. And it's because it had the woman from Brooklyn Nine-Nine in it, and I like her. And it also had what's his name from Thingamabob.
Oh,
But yeah.
that's good, that is.
But it was like based on a comic, and it's got a clown character, and it had all those kind of. Or was it based on a game? I think it's based on a game. So yeah, there's too much crossover between comics and games and films, I think, and like so it was based on a game. It had the clown character that's like wearing the mask, and turns around to the camera and goes
Right. Yeah.
it's like yeah, I don't know. It was I thought it was
No, I
quite
know what you mean.
awful,
Netflix is
really.
very guilty, and at least this is a Japanese production. But yeah, I do get frustrated with a lot of Netflix and stuff that is, whenever they're kind of set in Japan or wherever, they can't resist going for a certain orient. Like, there's got to be Yakuza in it, right? And there's got to be a katana has to come out
Yeah.
at some point, and you've got to have that kind of music, and it's just, you just get fed up of seeing. That's why I quite liked recently. I don't know if you've seen the Baby Assassins films. I quite like those because they're Japanese action films. They're cartoonish as well, but they've got a slightly fresh set of tropes to them. They're not, they're not all, yakuzas and people wielding swords and people in those kind of demon masks, and it's just like, there's something a bit different. There's something a bit more fresh about the. I get so fed up of seeing these kind of exotic Orientalist kind of cliches in any Netflixy thing set in Japan, right?
Yeah, well, this is also just like I said, it's gamey and to anime, like comic booky, but it had the boss and stuff like that. It had the levels.
Yeah.
It was just very predictable.
I don't mind that if they really lean into it, like if you're going to do that, like I said, you need to streamline it for a start. It has to be like 90 minutes, not 108. You have to, you kind of have to get, but mind you, having said that, those Indonesian films that are better, they're actually quite long. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, we didn't like this that much, although it wasn't awful. I didn't mind watching it.
Bored.
I didn't have a bad time.
I was pretty bored. I don't know. I didn't really like it. No, I think I was bored, and I was also just like if you're gonna if you do that thing with the boss and things at the end, where each person, then I suppose the thing is to make the despicableness of that boss interesting, in some way, and it didn't really do that, or make
he wasn't
the
a very
relationship with the person interesting, and the protagonist interesting, as in
he wasn't a very
boss and
charismatic villain, was he? He wasn't like
he was. Yeah, no, it wasn't.
And to be honest, I'm not massively into the main guy either.
No. Yeah, he was, had a haircut. Gee.
It was scruffy, wasn't it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Come on, man. You're in a film by your comb.
Yeah, well, the bit about his No, there's not much to say about it. I was seeing like, was there something about his daughter yelling? She didn't recognise him. I thought, oh, why didn't you recognise him? He's quite, But then you think, well, yeah, I mean, he's been quite boring all the way through. But like, I mean, he was in a, I don't know, presumably he was in a coma for 12 years, and you know,
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
didn't sort himself out. I don't know. It was, yeah.
I did spot one person I know in this film
Oh,
as
yeah?
well. Yeah, very, very briefly. There's someone looking through a car window, and it's an Iranian guy called Majid, who I
Oh.
know.
Shout out to Majid then.
Shout out to Majid.
Majid.
So I know which agency got this job because it's his brother who runs the agency.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't see anyone else I noticed. I for instance, I didn't know the carer guy. You know, because he was obviously.
Oh, yeah.
He was either Indian or Pakistani, wasn't he? But I didn't recognize him. He's not someone I know.
Oh, yeah. The driver guy, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go.
Yep.
Demon City, not very good.
Nope.
No.
Okay.
So here we go. This might be a more interesting chat, I think, because you've indicated before we started recording that you might have not been too keen on this film, and I kind of found this kind of interesting. So this is I Saw the TV Glow.
Yeah.
2023, American UK co-production. It turns out, written directed by one Jane Schombrun, who also made that film We're All Going to the World's Fair, and it's an A24 film, so it has
which was that film before or after this one? We're Going to the
Before.
World's Fair. Oh,
Yeah.
was it? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is not her debut then?
No, this would be, I think this is her second or maybe even her third feature.
All right. Okay.
So A24. So, so the setup for this film is Justice Smith is so it takes place over a series over 12 years or something like that. It starts in 1996. So we start off with we see the actors get older, right? So, and early on, it's a younger actors when we first see them. But basically, when they grow up, is who we're talking about. So, Justice Smith is a awkward kid in school, right? I suppose. Again, spoilers, kind of as we go along. I suppose it's intimated that he maybe doesn't know. He's not. I suppose he's not. He hasn't found his sexuality, I suppose.
Yeah.
He hasn't found his sexuality, and also I suppose it might even be intimated. He might also be not comfortable with his gender at birth as well. I'm guessing that might be part of it.
Yeah, but what do you mean at that particular time? You mean?
I mean,
it wasn't intimated that he wasn't happy with his gender from birth all the way through. They didn't explore that, you know. Do you know what I mean? They didn't explore that, did they? Or like, as in?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. You can kind of read into it a little bit as well, because as well, our co-star, who's credited as Bridget Lundy Payne, is also known as Jack Haven, right? And they are non-binary.
Oh, okay.
So I think
life.
Knowing that maybe kind of made me think about that. But clearly he's not comfortable in his own skin, then let's put it that way.
Yeah.
He's not comfortable in his own skin, and also he's clearly not getting what he wants out of life from a more conventional lifestyle then. But he also doesn't know he doesn't know what he's missing. He doesn't know what he wants. He's just he's adrift and clearly quite
I mean,
depressed.
did you think he was autistic or not then as well?
I
wonder.
don't know. I didn't think about that aspect of it. Possibly, but anyway, so he kind of slowly makes friends with a girl in school, as played by Jack Haven or Bridget Lundy Payne, and they kind of bond over a TV show, right, called The Pink Opaque.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like a YA science fiction fantasy, I suppose, in that kind of Buffy kind of area.
It's
right?
based in the 90s, isn't it? This whole thing as well, and
but something a little bit more out. Like I got the feeling not Buffy because that was very popular and people knew it. A kind of lesser known cult show kind of
like a mixture between Buffy and Sabrina the Teenage Witch, with maybe a little bit of sort of, I don't know, Bridge to Terabithia or and Dawson's Creek thrown in, sort of thing. It was more based on, it was more aimed at tweenies, like 12 to 13-year-olds.
I was thinking a little bit of, do you remember that show Erie, Indiana?
I remember the name. Remember, I didn't have a TV at that point, so
well, I was gonna ask you about this actually, because I was wondering, there's a certain thing about nostalgia for TV, and I was thinking exactly. I was wondering how this connected with you, because I know you didn't have a TV for some parts of when you were growing up.
The 90s, all of the 90s.
We'll talk about.
But I guess the thing is, I would have been like him. I can't remember the character's name. In that I would have to go.
I just wrote down.
I had to go to other people's houses to watch stuff, so I had a strong connection with I watched videos, but TV series like the X-Files and not Buffy. I didn't get into Buffy until later, but I had to go to other people's houses to watch them, and I don't know but I do. So I have an affinity with the fact that the 90s had really good TV, that does inspire that. That was, for me, that was probably it. That was interesting how that aspect of the 90s, how the TV was sort of, it was opening up to new worlds, and new atmospheres in a way that it hadn't maybe done before. It was, TV was becoming cult TV, wasn't it? So lots of stuff started to become cultish, I guess, and therefore drew you in a way that that made people obsessive, I think, and kind of made people disappear.
You did have, obviously you did have cult TV before then, but you're quite right. In the 90s, there were like suddenly magazines devoted to cult TV and stuff like that, wasn't it? So it was that, and people were into like episode guides and stuff like that, right? You'd buy magazines because they've got the entire Kolchak the Night Stalker episode guide in here, pre-internet, that kind of thing. So I was just saying, I grew up being a TV addict, and I knew you didn't have TV so much when you were a kid, so I was wondering how you related. But it's interesting, the kind of lack of it and it being a bit of a forbidden fruit actually seems to have heightened that connection to it for you a bit.
Yeah. I can definitely see how you could come together around a TV show with someone and become obsessive with it, and I think yeah. So anyway, and there's little hints, like we were saying. So when he mentions he wants to go around to watch The Pink Opaque, his father says something like, "Isn't that a show for girls?" Yeah.
And there's you don't see the parents much, but the parents all seem to be like slightly. And his mother seems okay, but she's very kind of maybe slightly overprotective of him. The father seems like a little bit scary and distant, and then her stepfather seems to be maybe abusive or something like that, right? So they're both kind of using this TV show as this obsession of the TV show as their safe space, right? And it's a place that they can go to and kind of be, and it all seems to be extremely allegorical in some way, right? It's these characters both seem to be escaping the fact that they don't fit in, and the pink opaque is a place that they can kind of exist, I suppose, without prejudice, or they can relate to it. But it's not a straightforward film. It jumps forward a couple of years, and she's seems to have like disappeared, and then it jumps forward again, and he's got his own family now, and he's kind of looks back on the show, and it just looks kind of stupid to him. And then she turns up out the blue, and she starts talking about like being buried alive, and there's a lot of stuff which is, you can either take it straight up at face value as some kind of weird fantasy realm which is enigmatic and not really explained, or again it's more allegorical and it's about someone transitioning or wanting to transition or not transition and then regretting it, and he has this whole, when his life seems to be, he just suddenly freaks out, and so there's a lot going on in this film. And even though it is a horror film to a certain extent, I'm not sure if it's, even as allegorical horror goes, I don't know if horror is the best category to put it in, really.
No, I think it's no. I don't know if
Not
it's
really.
a horror film. No, it's
although I suppose it's a terror or a fear of somehow being marginalized, or.
Oh, I thought it was I was taking it as a fear of stasis, of never, never becoming the thing.
Well, that as well. Yeah. Either way, I mean, I actually, so I kind of quite like this film. You don't seem to have liked it much.
No, well, it's just that I kind of liked the ice cream monster, and
yes, I like the ice cream monster.
And I liked the nods and things like that. However, I just was bored and found it didn't. But listening to you, I feel like you're kind of almost changing my mind, but I don't think so. I don't think I'd rewatch it.
Right.
But it just because it was slow, and sort of everything in it was done in this, in his voice, kind of. I didn't really like the talking to the camera stuff.
Okay, yeah, they do that, don't they? They break the fourth wall.
Yeah, but no, it's not the breaking of the fourth wall. It's that it seemed like it slightly incoherent doing that. But then maybe it isn't really, because it was almost like a biography, like it was kind of, it was allegorically harking back to 90s, like My So-Called Life type stuff, wasn't it? Like writing in the pink, in the writing in pink, like, kind of like that biographical type.
Yes,
thing.
yes. You get notes and stuff when she's giving him. There's like a montage when he's just endlessly walking.
Yeah.
School corridors by himself, right? And you're just seeing these superimposed the notes that she leaves with the tapes of the pink opaque.
Yeah, and
I mean, it is definitely, and this isn't necessarily a criticism, because I think it's designed like that. But depending on how you get on with, it's an incredibly solipsistic film. Like if you don't want to be if you don't want to be in someone's head, like constantly kind of navel gazing, you know, I can see why some viewers might find that a little bit suffocating in itself, right? But again, I suppose they're trying to put you in that headspace, right? Of
I guess I mean, my thoughts were like, now what, at the end, basically. But then I guess maybe I thought it was it seemed like a debut film, and then what is not. So that's interesting in itself. But it just,
well, it's very visually accomplished, though, right? It's a very
it's well shot, and
yeah.
it's got interesting aspects to it. But it's I think it just, I wasn't sure like what it accomplishes, but there could have been aspects of the fact that I think I think I was expecting a horror again,
Right.
but then also so I think I expected it to be like Videodrome or something like that, something happening,
Right. Right.
and nothing really happens in it much. Well, nothing happens. That's kind of the point. He wants something to happen, and lots of stuff sort of promises
life
to
just
happen.
passes him by, doesn't it?
And it's about a sort of lost promise, I suppose. But it is very slow and very, in some ways, and very kind of like in his voice, like no, like and then I ran.
I didn't mind the slowness of it, but there were certain bits where there's a long section where basically she's delivering a monologue about what happened to her after she comes back into his life, and I thought, God, this bit is dragging, because it is literally just a monologue, right, with a minimum of some kind of graphics or something. And I'm thinking, this needs the film kind of the momentum it did have kind of breaks down a little bit at that point. So yeah, no, it's far from perfect, but I thought it was kind of, the other thing I thought was a bit of a misstep, even though it was kind of funny, is when he's watching the Pink Opaque again when he's older, and it's changed from all the kids have changed from teenagers into little kids, right? And it's totally changed the tone. But it was quite funny because I did quite like, soup party. I thought that was quite funny. But it was a bit too much of a jump. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I know what they mean. I've gone back and watched stuff from when you're a kid and you're like, wow, this is not how I remember it at all. But it's never quite that different, right?
I wasn't sure what the point of that was. Like, I understood the kind of, but the sort of trans aspects of it were only, I don't know, or maybe they were there more than if you're aware of all the coming, sort of trans culture and stuff has loads of, and LGBTQ plus culture has loads of signs and signifiers and things that I probably just missed. I mean, I know that Tara from Buffy, the character Tara from Buffy, was in it. Forgotten her name, but she's like was an icon of for having like a really, like, one of the first really serious, I guess, mainstream TV show lesbian relationships with Willow and Buffy, and that
really?
that they had they're really highly regarded for having a more real, not a caricature, not and a positive relationship, not
right,
not negative, not just
was
really,
Willow the cute sidekick?
the redhead one in Buffy.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember her.
Yeah. So yeah, I think they, that there were, I recognise that, but I think if there were lots of things in there, like that, symbols and various things, I wouldn't have necessarily recognized them. But
plus the frame of reference is ever so slightly. So I think Jane Schoenbrunn, I noticed she's born in 1987, and we're like late
older.
70s, and also I think 70s, the 80s growing up in the UK was a slightly different thing from in America as well. So I think the gap widens a little bit again. So I think, her frame of reference is like, I don't know, half a generation out from ours as well, a little bit, right? So we're not quite in sync. So I think that's the thing as well. I think I'm giving the film a certain benefit of the doubt for that. And also, like you said, yes, I don't feel entirely qualified to pick up on certain signs and signifiers. And also, just in general, this is something that is very much of our time. It might change, will change in like 10 or 15 years, when I think we're all a bit more, not comfortable, but we're all a bit more just hep and kind of clued in and understand things. I think now we're in a time where...
The word hep.
Thank you very much. A very hep use of the word hep. Daddy-o.
Yeah.
And... but what I mean is, I think we're at that point now where we're like listening to trans, like we're in that point. Listen, like, don't critique, don't, just listen, because you don't know, you don't understand, and most of us don't, right? And in the wider culture, we don't have any concept of how frustrating that must be, right? To actually be born in apart from the assholes who refuse to believe that it's a thing, right?
Yeah, but I don't know whether the film...
So I'm giving it the benefit of doubt,
yeah,
what
of course. I don't know whether the film really explores it, other than that thing of, it explores the universal frustration of being very, very bored with your life, doesn't it?
As well. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. And I suppose on that level, it might be less successful. Like, I've seen better films about that kind of
Although
ennui
I
or
think
something
his
like that.
visceral scream when he did the scream, that worked. That was quite effective.
Yeah.
I mean, partly because
like
I was so bored myself by then, and it just sort of jumped me out of the thing. But yeah, I definitely thought there were some nice elements. I just, I guess, and again, if you were in the right mood for it, it would be different, maybe. But I was, I was watching it with Claire. We were just, I guess, wanted to watch something more exciting. Yeah, really. And or we wanted things to... I think I had to watch it in 2 sittings. I was just watching it late and just falling asleep, and I guess I wanted the same things he wanted, which was a more exciting life, and more exciting film. Basically, I wanted more ice cream men and moon-shaped people and things like that.
You just weren't in the mood.
The Buffy.
Although those parts are quite, the ice cream, and the moon, what was his name? Mr. Melancholy. They were quite cool. Speaking of which, quick tangent, just because you did mention your significant other there. Have you been to see the new Frankenstein film?
We're going to go and see it tomorrow night, I think, yeah.
Okay. I had a feeling you probably would.
Have you seen it? Yeah.
Not yet. No. I don't know if I'm going to go to the theater or not. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Guillermo del Toro. It might be fantastic, but I don't know. I can't help feeling like a man with that much kind of clout
Mm.
in the industry and vision, I'm like, dude, did you really have to do another Frankenstein film? Like,
Well, apparently he's been waiting for like whatever his
yeah,
whole
he's been
life
wanting to do it forever. Yeah, but do you know what I
Which
mean?
then,
It's
but
like I
that
would have quite
almost
liked to have
means
seen
that
him do something else.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I like his films, but there's my one Del Toro misgiving is that he almost puts too much attention to detail. It's so saturated sometimes. You're just like, oh God, we just like just take a few of the cogs out, just and a few of the little dials and wheels and just calm it down a little bit. To me, it's just like, it's just so saturatedly visually that and like in every other way as well. What was that one with the gothic one? I mean, a lot of them are gothic. It doesn't really help. The one in
Crimson Peak.
yeah. That was, I liked it. I really did like it, but it's so in your face. I couldn't watch another one. It's like, eating a whole chocolate cake to yourself. It's just
I know
too
exactly what
much.
you mean. It's almost like and you feel bad because you're almost criticizing him for doing a good job, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah. It's just
I
like
know what you mean.
big gothic
I think
chocolate
that's
cake.
just us. I think we both kind of like films that I don't know
I like
have a little bit of space
a
for
stillness.
you.
Yeah, it's a stillness and space to it. I
Yeah,
do like his films though, and
yeah.
but it's
Oh
like
no, I admire the man, but I know exactly what you mean. It's all so designed to an inch of it that
yeah,
there's no space for me to kind of dream or imagine. Like it's all there, right? Like he's done it for you. So
yeah. I think yeah. I mean, it's probably. Well, I don't. There's no way of me comparing myself to Guillermo del Toro, but it's just in the thing I kind of wrestle with myself is like how to stop myself from trying to take control of every aspect of something I do, and then
right,
but then
right.
we're on this with.
Yes, okay, this isn't exactly. No, it does seem a bit ridiculous.
So,
But I know, but I know exactly what you mean. Like the other thing as well. I don't think for instance, I know, like Mark Kermode, for example, absolutely loves Pan's Labyrinth, right? Like
I
he
haven't
talks about
actually
how much,
seen it yet. No.
and it is a very, very good film. But I can never quite have that connection. Like, so I haven't seen Frankenstein yet, so I might, but I'm almost 100% sure that if I like it, it'll be a film that I admire. It won't be one of those films that I personally connect with. Like, so I like almost all of Guillermo del Toro's films, and I've enjoyed them, and I think they're good films.
Mm-hmm.
But none of them I've actually like connected with personally.
Yeah. I get that visually. Yeah, really enjoy it, but yeah, I'm not. It's not a film where I'm in there, completely immersed.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not one for my personal collection of my little cabinet of curiosities.
Again, I keep mentioning Barry Lyndon because that's a film where there's a similar level of artistic attention to detail. Every shot looks like a painting sort of thing.
Yes, brilliant film, Barry Lyndon.
Yeah, but I'm so in there with that film,
Same,
really,
I know what you mean.
In there, like I could watch it again, and then again and again. I think I could watch it lots and lots of times. It just draws me in. But there we go.
Yeah. Well, weirdly enough, that draws us to a category which actually ties into, I think, what something they're trying to do with I Saw the TV Glow, right? I think something that, so the Japanese title, oddly enough, is, what was it? It was it translated as something like, I want to go inside the TV or something like that, right?
Okay.
So oddly, we've come round here to, this is relevant. I think there are a category of films, like you said, you want to crawl in and live in it. The first example of this I remember for me was Roman Polanski's film, The Fearless Vampire Killers. There's something about that film. There's a cozy kind of atmosphere. It's the first film I remember thinking, oh, I wish I could go into that film, And every now and again, you will encounter a film like that, and you never know where it's going to come from. It totally swipes you, and you're like, oh man, I wish I want to know everything about this film, but I want to discover it for myself. And something like a slightly chintzy 90s show kind of allows for that. Whereas, something that was 100% already designed and thought out by Guillermo del Toro and is all impeccably put on, that you can't squeeze in there, right? There's no room for you.
Some sort of barrier, yeah. I mean, Buffy actually, I think, was one of those shows that I just really enjoyed going into that world, and I know you. I don't know whether you were a fan or not of Buffy.
Buffy, I think the thing with Buffy for me was I missed out on it a bit because I didn't really, because that came on British screens. I feel that was on when I moved to London and then moved to Japan, and so there was a lot of stuff going on. So and then so I missed the sweet spot of seeing it at the right. I've seen it since, like some of it, and it does actually look like a pretty good show. But I think I've probably missed the window for me to connect with it in that way.
It is one of the, one of those shows which they got that right in this film, where you had to suspend your disbelief and go along with things. So there was when I first watched it, there was a barrier to kind of getting into it that you have to get past. A lot of the characters are seem one-dimensional and then gradually develop and things like that,
right?
Whereas I think the X-Files at that time was a show that was immediately drew you in, didn't it? Wouldn't you say?
Yes, I remember being really interested in X-Files when it started, and then kind of losing interest after a bit. But certainly when it was started, I liked the concept of it, and I liked the idea that there was a man in a basement kind of investigating small articles, and had, which I'm still doing to this day in a way, with the idea of the chalkboard with red lines connecting things. I love that. I just love the idea of trying to find some pattern to the chaos, right?
Do you have one of those? Do you?
Well, I've always wanted one, but at this point, the way that I have it on, on my, I'd need the biggest wall ever, and ladders going up, and I'd have to keep moving things. So it would actually be quite laborious. But I wish I'd have had one at the beginning. Yeah, that would have been quite neat.
Yeah. You've got to start from the beginning, I think. You can't start halfway through the investigation.
No. And I don't know where you buy red string. I suppose there's somewhere that sells it. Anyway, so there we go. That's I saw the DV Glow. We both had thoughts. But I thought I think it's because it's also, it is one of those films recently that it is, to use the word hep again, it is I think it is a bit of it has a bit of a cult following, and it'll be interesting to see, like in say 20 years or something, if you were to rewatch it, it could go either way, right? I could imagine it, people seeing it and thinking, oh, this film was quite prescient and ahead of its time, or it could be laughably earnest and dated as well.
Prescient to what would it, other than, okay, so, and this isn't meant as a criticism or anything like that, it's just that I'm not, I don't see how, so in essence, It just seems it's about the frustration of not becoming what you want, not being what you want to be,
Yes.
which is trans,
Well, like you said, though, it's both. It could be taken as a trans allegory, but also in general, people not getting what they want out of life as well, right? So I think you were saying you can relate to it on that level as well. It doesn't have to specifically be about.
But then I don't see how it's
gender.
How it's kind of how you would ever look back at it and say that it really spoke of something, because it doesn't, as in how it would reach cult status as a film that had exemplified or put its finger on an era,
right?
Because because he just he I don't know, because it doesn't seem to be do Doom that much as a film, It almost, if it was a film that was fully about being trans and, being out and trans, maybe I could see that. I don't know, but, it's a film about repressed.
Exactly. So they can't be. That's the point, that he can't be out. And plus, as well, I think that's why I think the film is kind of quite interesting in a way, is because his character doesn't even know, right? It's not as if it's made clear that he is, for instance, he's gay but doesn't want to come out as gay, or he wants to be a different gender, or in fact, it's almost as if he's almost asexual, actually. And the fact that so I think that's the thing, is it's complicated. Like, not even so that's why I find it kind of interesting, I suppose, because it's more than just a straight, clear-cut allegory. It's also, like you said, it could just be he could just be cis, straight, but just very, very awkward and not made for this world, and it's never quite spelled out. I think.
Unless
so I find that kind of interesting, because there's all sorts of different.
Did you read much about about it? I started to read just before we started, but because
I didn't read that much about it. I'm not saying those are actually what the film is about.
Why it's a cult
things
film,
I got out of it, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I'm curious as to why it's a cult film. I'm more curious as to why it would have a buzz about it, and would that be, I think, it's probably just of a generation that has grown up, in the sidelines with massive frustration.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It offers representation, I think, is why. It's because there's not that many films that offer any form of representation, but they grow it. That's why I'm saying in 20 years or something, I'm wondering, when there's more of those films and it's become more of a norm, this film might seem badly dated.
Would it speak of a time that was like, was like the time before trans rights were recognized at all?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. So it could go either way. The film could seem quite dated, or it could seem like a good time capsule or a bad time capsule, or Anyway, we'll find out if we're still around.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, let's get to the really good stuff.
Yeah.
So, when evil lurks.
Yeah, which I only just realized.
Cuando acecha la maldad.
Oh.
Which is almost definitely not how you say it.
I don't know. Sounded pretty accurate to me.
In that case,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 2023 again, Argentinian US co-production.
Okay.
Written and directed by Damian Rugna. Again, probably not saying that right.
No, that was perfect.
That wasn't as good, was it?
That was good. That was perfect.
Yes, so we have a couple of brothers. The elder one played by Ezekiel Rodriguez, a young one, another Damian Solomon. Although I suspect you pronounce his name differently because so Damian, the director, has the accent above the A. And I noticed Damian, the actor, has his accent above the I. So I don't know if one is Damian and the other one is Damian. Or yeah. I think we might get into trouble if we carry on doing that.
Yeah.
Both wearing sombreros. Yeah. Best not do it.
Yeah, fine.
But anyway, I'm just wondering if because clearly there's a reason there's an accent above the A and there's an accent above the I and the other. But anyway, their brothers, they seem to live on, I don't know, like a little ranch or a farm or something in rural Argentina. And one night there's a shooting. They hear some shooting just outside their property line, I guess.
It's so well done, that first bit as well. Just the first thing of just wiping on the messy window, and it kind of spells out the whole film, just that little act. And then a little tiny little blue greasy window. It's like and it's like, and then they analyze the how many shots were fired, and they kind of, well, no, because if it was if it was a poacher, there'd be more shots than that, or I can't remember what they said.
Or less, like more spaced out. It'd be not like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. But it's a revolver. They work out it's a revolver.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they head out.
Starts immediately, running, just immediately.
The film away, hits the ground running, doesn't it?
Straight away. It's brilliant.
We'll discuss this whether you think or not. I think at a certain point, it can't help. There's a part, I think later on the film kind of slows down a little bit, which I think it can't be helped, just in relative to how fast moving the rest of it is. But then it kind of picks up again. So it's a minor point, but they don't quite keep the pace 100% through, right? But no, you're quite right. This film from the beginning is like, what's going on? It's propulsive, isn't it? You want to know. It doesn't waste any time, but it also it doesn't seem frenetic or out of control, or it's too much editing or anything.
No.
But it's just, it really moves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So they go investigate. They find, to be fair, that's the other thing that's a little bit. They're quite calm considering they find a body.
What's his name? What are the characters' names again?
I don't know. I only know the actors Ezekiel and Damian.
Is Ruiz one? Anyway,
Ruiz is the neighbor.
Oh, sorry. The beard one, the bearded guy, the main character.
Yes.
Really. He is really stressed.
We'll call him Ezekiel.
He's very stressed. So that's quite nice. So he's quite stressed. Anyway, carry on. So they go
so they
to
find a body sliced in half, right, and like bits of some kind of device, which they can't identify. And while they're kind of trying to figure out what happened, it leads them to another neighbor.
Well, it's right outside that neighbor's, very near, isn't it? Anyway.
Yes.
So they go and check out. The neighbor is sort of like, they're people living on Ruiz's land, right? In a caravan on his land, sort of thing.
Yeah, I get the feeling no one spells it out, but I'm guessing by the way some of the other characters kind of react to them. Are they kind of like Romany or Gypsy or travelers or something like that?
Yeah, something a bit like that, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're basically just
they're
poor.
like,
I mean, yeah. Yeah, this main
Well,
villain
no, I
stuff is,
just
but
get the feeling because everyone blames them, right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
like they're like tolerated at first, but then when the maldition happens, they're blamed, right? This is like this is from
Maldition.
you.
What's that? Did you get that from the did you? That was good. Is that what
Like
the rotten is? Is that is that what they were saying? Maldition. I don't think I
No,
listened properly.
I don't know. Is it maldition? Isn't it like a what would it be in English? Like a I suppose you can translate it as curse or malediction or
okay.
I suppose malediction is the closest in English. Yeah.
So did they say that in the film or?
No, I was just showing off.
Oh, you're just showing off. Okay, good.
Yeah, they might have said malediction. It would make sense. But anyway, yeah, the subs are so basically there's a rotten and the neighbors are harboring this kind of, I don't know if he's obese or just bloated or both.
He's just well the thing is, sorry, but I should have paid attention to what the the Spanish word for rotten was it? Is Argentinian slightly different to Spanish? Anyway, I didn't pay any attention to what word they were actually saying for rotten, but it's probably quite a good word. Anyway, he's a massively bloated, boiled, buboed, rotting corpse of a man.
Pretty gross.
He's fantastically gross.
Yeah. Film, it's the first sign as well, isn't it, that this film is like going to go to the places you might not expect. Like it doesn't shy away from being quite disturbing.
Yeah. I mean,
fucked up.
There's a film called Where Evil Lurks, is there? Or I don't know.
Yes.
There is,
there? So this is When Evil Lurks, isn't it?
Which is sort of like a good play on that title because it's it's like when evil lurks about, like just stays there lurking, you better watch the fuck out because it's not going anywhere. Like
no,
this evil is like, yep, I'm just this massively bloated demon type thing, whatever, and you can't get rid of me.
So they find this rotten, and so it turns out the body they found and the bits of a machine was someone who was supposed to come and kind of fix this,
clean it. So that's what they said.
Yes, there's a cleaner.
Which is
this is our first indication that this film and I quite like when you get this in the film, in a horror film, because we all know about tropes and how to deal with vampires or werewolves or I like when you get a new set of rules or something. And I also quite like that they don't, it's drip fed to you as well. It's not like there isn't someone turns to a chalkboard and goes, right,
a book or whatever. It says here that a rotten
in a book. It's like bit by bit you learn the rules, how to deal with it, right? And what's great is as well is what I realized at the end of it. I didn't realize at the film was ended. I realized, wow, the clever thing about this film, again, spoilers, is from the beginning, no one pays attention to they can't help themselves. They keep doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, well, especially the beardy guy. He fucks up all the time.
Everything.
Because he's so stressed. And,
but that's the thing. It's it's so relatable, right? Because you understand why. Because it just and the rules seem so arbitrary. But just fucking, if from the beginning they left the bloat, because the bloated rotten isn't actually doing anything yet, right? And if they just waited for a cleaner to come, and then it would probably have been fine, right?
Did kill the cleaner, presumably, the rotten, because the gunshots. One of the rules was don't shoot a rotten, wasn't it? Or don't try to
Yes.
harm a rotten.
That's interesting, actually.
So I
I hadn't
don't know
thought going
why
back
you heard
think about
gunshots
that.
if that person was a cleaner and they had the right
Yeah.
machinery. What were they doing shooting a gun? So all that was
And
sort
how
of,
did they get cut in half?
yeah. So I mean, yeah, that wasn't. Well,
No, but
that
I quite
wasn't-
like that it's not spelled out, right?
Yeah.
Because it opens the space. I'd actually love to see. I mean, it doesn't need one, but I would actually love to see a When Evil Lurks 2, which was like another town or another something, and it's just the same kind of basic rules, right? I think
yeah.
it would work quite well. I'd be quite happy to see this branch out into like a little franchise.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a nice new concept. I don't know whether it has any basis in any sort of folk lore or
Yeah, I was
anything like
wondering
that
about that as well.
at
As
all.
far as I can
didn't
tell,
look it up,
not
so.
really. But I mean, there's stuff in there that there's like biblical stuff, isn't there? There's like towards the end, there's like a mark of Cain kind of thing, and you can and you can kind of relate it to the story of Cain and Abel because he smashes the thing's head in. Which isn't that how Cain killed? What was their dad called? Ham, was it? Is that how the Bible story goes?
Oh God, I don't know, but yeah, I should.
Because then
probably
the
know.
kid, whatever
well,
he is, if he's like Damien, if he's like Satan reborn, he leaves the mark of Cain, doesn't he, on his forehead?
Yeah.
So there's that, which would kind of make sense in a kind of Catholic country like Argentina.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So basically, I mean, we will avoid some of the spoilers of the surprises, I think, because the surprises are cool.
Yeah.
But it's visceral and it's gory and it's quite nasty and it's like like I was watching this thinking, whenever something really horrible happened, I thought, you actually did it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like killing kids, for example. A lot of the time, when
animals,
when people do that in a film, when they'll if they kill, they often build up to it, or in some way that makes you go, oh, fuck off, why did you do that? Like, oh, come on.
Or when they collect it is discreetly off screen. What I like about this, it's on screen and it's very horrible.
There's quite a lot of kids get killed as well, but it's way more enjoyable than your usual like killing of a kid thing. Because you're almost like the evil is the protagonist in a way, You're like, when you kind of, say you when you sit in your own filth, like you don't change your clothes or whatever, and you don't like. Or
doing it right now.
Yeah, you're like, And I think everybody has that aspect of themselves that wants to kind of just rot away. And so there's that aspect of like gleeful, like enjoyment of evil, and it's also, I guess, put in a different place and a different pair of hands sort of thing. It might have been like well-to-do, clean family,
right,
like something like a person who was OCD who cleans every surface or something, and this thing, the rotten sort of thing infests their life, sort of thing. But it was within a kind of environment that kind of helped it establish itself. I don't know. I just thought it was really good. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was just very, very, very,
well, our
very enjoyable in that way.
are different as well, right? So you slowly, like at a certain point, you find out that like our kind of hero, anti-hero, or our protagonist, has a restraining order against him from his family. So you're like, oh, what's his story like?
Yeah,
And there's
exactly.
little bits leaked here and there that he hasn't been a good guy in the past. That's for sure.
I mean, he's got a very messy life. That's what where I was kind of going with it. Like, it wasn't like it was juxtaposing the rotten, or like the rot that sets in with a perfect life, and it wasn't also juxtaposing it with like he's not a gangster, who's like a killer or a serial killer or something like that.
No.
He's just a hapless-ish, kind of stressed out. He's also touched on the fact that he's had some sort of mental illness as well. So it was like, it was just shit had happened to him. It wasn't too kind of labored. It was just he had a messy life. I think that was the point.
Yes. Or he even looks messy as well, right? He's not a clean cut hero either. He's got this scraggly beard, and
I can't remember if I've seen him in something else before as well.
I don't know. I didn't recognize. I'm sure he is in other things. Well, he is in other things. I looked him up, but maybe nothing that I had seen or. But and it just moves as well. It moves. It stops for a little bit. Not stops, but it slows down a little bit. And I think that's just relative to how fast it was moving before, right?
Yeah,
so
what bit was that then you were thinking that slowed down, if you can say that without giving spoilers?
No, just I think like, I suppose when it's slightly more established what's happening to a certain extent, it feels like it slows down a little bit, just because prior to that it's revelation, what, and then when the rules are established a little bit more, the film kind of seems as if it slows down, just because what's happening, I suppose, is but that doesn't last long, and that's literally like, and it's not boring, I must say, but there's like a 10-minute stretch where it just kind of slightly becomes a more conventional horror film. But then it takes off again, and it goes straight to the end. Yeah,
it's a film I wish I would have seen in the cinema, especially for the school bit. I mean, that bit would have been so good, so good, because of all the kids. Oh my god, that really deserved.
The effects are excellent.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah.
Good music as well by Pablo Fu. Just everything about it is like really well done, isn't it? I'd never seen a film by Damien Rugna before. He'd made a few films before this, but the one he made that seems to have the horror film that people seem to have got a lot out of is a film called Terrified. So I think I'm keen to go back and watch that now. That's supposed to be really good as well.
Yeah, I mean, this bit of an aside, but I'm constantly curious but never active enough to look it up. But I'm curious about how funding works in different countries, because we're all I'm familiar with Britain, and I'm also familiar with America, but places like Argentina, to some extent Japan and stuff like that, just I don't know how, what the budget was for this. Is it an example, do you think, of like how to make a brilliant film on a very low budget, or was it that lower budget? I know exactly what you mean. It looks like a really quite, other than with the one exception of one or two effects, really, but they're negligible. It looks like a really, really, really high production value.
Also, if we're nitpicking, there's one very brief, ever so brief continuity error. I wonder if you spotted it.
I don't know.
So towards the end, again, without giving spoilers, a main character makes a hole in that stage, right?
Oh yeah.
And there's the rotten is in there,
Mm.
and our protagonist is sitting with his feet over the edge of the hole, right? So the frame is the outer frame, and then the inner frame of the hole, and you can see the protagonist's legs tipping over the edge, right?
Mm.
And then he goes off to fetch the axe, right?
Mm.
And then we cut back to the rotten saying something in the hole, and the protagonist's legs are still hanging over the edge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No,
minor thing, but I was just so proud of me for actually spotting it because it's like that. But again, this, it's nothing. It doesn't really. But I was just obviously they filmed that at the same time, but then they lost. They lost it in the edit, right? I'm sure the filmmakers see it. I'm sure the filmmakers are like, "Oh no, that's so obvious. I hope no one sees it," and probably most people wouldn't notice it. So I'm sorry to upset you.
Yeah. Well, now I have to go back and watch. Yeah.
But no, I know it is interesting. So yeah, is this film? Yes, is it just a very innovative and they made a very good use of a small budget, or is Argentina like a bit more? Is there more funding for the arts and stuff? And because, for instance, I have a friend who lives in Spain, in Majorca. He used to live here. He came back to visit, and his new job was teaching drama to students. And he made a reason. He could support his wife and children teaching drama to kids, and it seemed like it's something they take seriously in Spain, for example.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine someone necessarily living off that job here or, in somewhere else.
Britain.
Yeah. So, yes, I think it is interesting to consider. And for instance, we've talked before about how, like in Korea, for example, there's a lot of money goes into, actual government money goes into filmmaking, for example. So yeah, it's a good question. My guess is that I suspect Argentina probably does have good funding for the arts, maybe. So maybe this. I'm sure it's not a huge budget. Don't get me wrong, but I'm sure it's they is a reasonable.
Yeah, I think Prejudice made me think that it would be low budget when I started watching it, and then I was sort of blown away by how well done it was. It reminded me of like Polish films in a way, have that dusty kind of homemadey feel, but are really sophisticated and well done and quite, I don't know.
I don't see. You probably see more Polish films than me because I know
I
they
haven't
play
seen
there.
one for ages, but just the films that I have watched have been really just they're not massive budgets, the ones I've seen, and I don't think I've seen many modern ones, so I don't know. But again, they've got the Polish Film Institute and stuff like that. They've got
there's definitely some countries that just have more of a reverence in general for the arts as well, and I that would make sense. I think a lot of Poland and parts of Eastern Europe do have that tradition of just a great deal of respect, and whether that transforms into being able to financially help or not, just a respect for the arts,
but it's also just
art's sake.
You can see from When Evil Lurks that it's got the whole crew. It's got a whole crew who know exactly what they're doing. Like it's like everyone, lighting and stuff, all of it spot on. Really well
exactly
done.
They're professionals. Having said that, though, as well, we don't want to paint this in the wrong light. I mean, this is incredibly commercial as well. Like it's a horror film that works, right?
Mm.
Like, and keep an eye out for it actually, because I get the feeling. So this is on Shudder, right? And I get it. It's still a reasonably enough a new. It did get festival play when it was new, and it did get a bit of buzz, and that's why Shudder bought it. But I get a feeling that a lot of people in English-speaking territories, non-festivals, who've seen it online. I think maybe quite a lot of people wouldn't have seen it on the big screen. I get the feeling this is that kind of thing that could get a re-release, maybe like.
What, a cinematic re-release?
Yeah,
that would be
it's the kind of thing that would play in rep, right? So I would keep an eye out for it if I were you. You might get a chance to see it on a big screen.
Yeah.
Because I'd see it again. I'd watch it again.
No, I'd watch it in the cinema for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's our big rec, I think, for this episode, isn't it?
Rec.
When Evil Wrecked is hope you're all right out there, Mr. Nam. When Evil Lurks. Check it out, yo.
Top film. All right.
It's hep, is what it is.
It's
Daddy-o.
It's a hep wreck. Daddy-o.
It's a hep wreck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. Should we say goodbye?
Yeah, before we get too cool.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
See you then.
Bye.
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 Recording stopped.